Okay, so we have little Raz about to start on day 13 of his training, and we've gone into a modified portion of our fire trail training. And I'm going to actually cut out your set time, but suffice it to say, you move him away from the start point to another location, and your set time is 4 minutes and 30 seconds before you actually start the track again. This modified fire trail is really essential for the setting for our next set of training steps that we're going to be doing here shortly.
Yeah, all good. I'm timing it anyway. All right, come here, wee shite. Oh, I know, come here, wee shite.
Okay, great. So Raz takes odor, and of course he wants to take the rock. And I love to use things like this because they can't pick them up and take them with them. And eventually he's just going to leave it. And we're going to have to continue to use these types of objects with him. And it's very atypical of dogs that have an oral fixation. And one of the things you need to understand is that a lot of dogs nowadays have been bred to be very mouthy. One of the things that we use as a training and testing form is their ability to grab a hold of something and not let it go. So through breeding over the years, we've actually created more of a trait to do this. So one of the things that's really cool here is Raz gets odor rather nicely. And I love the material that he's in. This surface is absolutely fantastic. It holds odor quite nicely. He's in some rough terrain where the material is actually taller than him, and so he has to use odor to actually mitigate this obstacle. He really doesn't have too much of a choice. And of course he's going to try to take the path of least resistance. The problem that the path of least resistance does is it takes him out of odor, and when that happens, then he has to try to reacquire.
A bit long in it.
So now, as much as this really sucks to have happen, this is kind of what we want to have happen. By having that lead drag behind him like it does, occasionally it's going to get stuck, but not very often. But when it does, it has nothing to do with the handler. It just happens to have something to do with the conditions. And this is important because the lead, if it's very restrictive, can really impede the dog on their track. And if the dog perceives the lead correction or snagging to be something the handler did, a lot of times they're going to take it as a correction, and this can create a situation where the dog starts relying on that lead tension for guiding it on where to go. So this is why we do this step right here with the puppies at this age. We use a relatively short lead, dragging behind them, and if it happens to get stuck, it has absolutely nothing to do with the handler. So what we're doing is we're teaching the dog to deal with the weight of the lead behind them plus some resistance from time to time that has nothing to do with the handler. Okay, so with Raz, I think a big part of what he's been doing is air scenting this last portion of the track. In particular, just back there, he's showing some really good body language changes. It's saying he's air scenting, he's sampling the wind. Here's another example of it right here. And you know, with trailing, this is something that happens a lot. You know, the wind will shift constantly. Sometimes they're going to use ground odor, sometimes they're going to use air scent. And one of the things you have to understand about the air scent is it's never consistent, especially from a distance, or if you don't have a heavy wind, it's going to shift and move in directions. Like right here, he just got excited again because he just got another big air scent. The wind shifted and it triggered him to actually start driving on again. Now, what dogs would prefer to do is to use the air scent and not the ground track. And the simple reason for this is the air scent actually is fresher odor. The dog knows that he's closer to the subject, and so they actually prefer the air scent over the ground scent. So sometimes switching back to the ground scent is something that they just don't do as long as that air scent is readily available. And you know, you have to be able to just allow it and not worry about it. If air scent happens quite a bit in your tracks, it just means that you should probably start thinking a little bit more about the conditions that you're in before you put them on the track. But you know, overall, everything that you've been doing in all your practice trails has been really quite good. And this is just a natural progression in training, and it's something that you shouldn't really worry about. But notice how his tail's wagging right now. This is another indication that he's in the scent pool now. So you've got what we call a near alert. The near alert occurs when he's in or he's hit the threshold of your scent pool. So now it's nothing but a big air scent picture. And the way dogs usually work that is they work the perimeter of the pool or the edge of the pool until they can get the scent cone, and then they're going to cut into it. And I think you're going to see that here pretty soon. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is that Raz's speeds really kind of increased this last portion. That's another indication that you're in your proximity alert and getting relatively close. Well, and here's another thing that happens when he drops into the hole. It's another good obstacle, another good distraction, and even though it really sucks, it's one of those things that if he can work past it, it's going to really help build his focus. You know, so when these little things happen that have nothing to do with you whatsoever, it's just God's will, we just deal with it. But look at his speed right here, man. See how agitated he is? He's just driving around like crazy. He can't see worth crap with this taller grass. So this is all nose work right here. And it's a great test of his ability to be able to deal with this. It looks like you also got a nice big distraction over there that just drove by on a bike. So you may be having kind of a double air scent that he might be working. And this is actually the beginning of some scent discrimination work. So what he's doing right now is he's trying to isolate that scent cone. If he can get that scent cone, he's going to shoot right into it. And of course, that's what happened right here. So really great day, really great work. And what we're going to do on the next exercise is we're going to start a trail with your trail air already gone. Okay, so we only have about maybe a 5-minute set time, but we're going to go out to an area, have your trail air take off, and then we're going to bring Raz to the start point and see how he does with just the scent article. And I want you to use the same scent article that we used today. Okay, great work.